a gym. We're like a sporting club. So this goes back to, maybe in the early 20th century when there were these exclusive, like, social sporting clubs.
Okay, like Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah. The Great Gatsby, that era.
Okay.
Hold on, Cameron. So we're going to take a look and see what they say.
Yes.
But before we do, here are some expressions to cover. Turn to something or turn to someone.
This means you rely on someone. When you have a problem, this is where you go to fix that problem.
Okay. You're literally turning to them.
Yes.
Okay. If you veer away, that's a little bit different. V-E-E-R.
Yes, veer here means to change direction. So you're changing your direction away from something.
Okay. So one expression means to go to that person, and then veer away is to, like, go maybe in another direction.
Yes.
If you capitalize on something.
This means you're taking advantage of something. You're using something and getting the benefit from it.
Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and listen to our article.
As gyms struggle to differentiate themselves, they have begun to turn to nostalgia to attract more members. Fitness centers, or rather sporting clubs, are hiring designers to make their facilities look and feel like those from the late 1800s to the mid-1900s. They are purposely veering away from the glass and steel designs of today for more inviting wooden accents and actual exercise equipment from that earlier era. They are also capitalizing on the renewed popularity of tennis due to recent movies that featured the sport. Socializing is another important element, with lounges and cafes a common feature among these new old gyms.
Here we go. Let's take a look at this article. Don't call it a gym. You can find this article on page 32. As gyms struggle to differentiate themselves, they have begun to turn to nostalgia to attract more members. Now, these days, Cameron, there is a gym at every corner.
Yes.
Right? So many, right?
There really are a ton.
Even a ton.
As many cafes as there are gyms now.
I recently got a flyer for a new gym in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's probably like the 6th one.
Yeah.
Okay. They want to differentiate themselves, meaning they want to be different from the other gyms. Okay? So what have they done? They have begun to turn to nostalgia. That's interesting. What does this mean, turn to nostalgia?
So, of course, nostalgia, sometimes you hear that word in Korean as well, right? So to turn to nostalgia means they are looking at it and probably using it.
Yes.
So as a business strategy, they're going to try to appeal to the nostalgia of their customers. Here, though, it is interesting. We'll see in a second. The nostalgia they're talking about is from like the 1800s. So it's not like their childhood.
Right.
Which would probably be the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Right.
It's before they were even born.
It's like old history.
That's like the time of the Titanic. That is the type of nostalgia that they're turning to.
All right, let's see what they're doing. They say fitness centers, or rather sporting clubs, are hiring designers to make their facilities look and feel like those from the late 1800s to the mid-1900s. So they're hiring designers, like they're actually interior designs for these sporting clubs to make the facility look and feel like. Look and feel like is our power pattern.
Yeah, so we kind of already probably know what this means to look like something.
Right.
To feel like something.
Yes.
But putting them together like this is a very natural, very common way of saying this. When you're creating an experience, you say, oh, it looks and feels like the 70s.
Right. So it's not simply just looking like it, but it gives you that experience.
Yeah, it's like it's not just from the outside, like you're looking at a picture.
Yeah.
It's like the whole experience.
Right.
Even what you feel with your skin is from another time.
Yeah, look and feel like. Great. So let's continue on.
They are purposely veering away from the glass and steel designs of today for more inviting wooden accents and actual exercise equipment from that earlier era.
Wow, this is really going all out.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're trying to get that feel from the 1800s, mid-1900s, and they're veering away from the glass and steel. So when you go to a gym, typically there's a lot of steel. The equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah?
A lot like black.
Yeah, and the mirrors.
Yeah, a lot of mirrors. Maybe
windows.
Some like LED lights.
Yeah, right? Okay. But they're trying to veer away from that.
Yes. So this has a literal meaning where you're turning away from. Mm-hmm. So your car, you can veer left.
Yes.
And it's like you're slowly turning left. Mm-hmm. You're going in the direction of left. But when we talk about it in this case, we're saying we're kind of shifting what we do a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
So the trend was glass and steel, but now the trend is going in a different direction.
Okay, so this doesn't mean that it's a complete makeover. You still need equipment.
Yes.
You still need a little bit of steel, but they're kind of going in another direction. How? They are inviting wooden accents and actual exercise equipment from that earlier era. So they're actually getting some older equipment.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, so here the inviting is the feeling of warmth.
Yeah.
Welcoming, right?
Yes.
So things like glass and steel, we often think of them as cold.
Right.
Artificial.
Yes.
Inhuman.
Yes.
But things that are wooden are warm.
Yeah.
Maybe a little softer. And they feel like a human has made them, right?
Totally.
That is the feeling here with inviting. You want to go to it because it feels good to you.
Okay, so it is definitely different from 초대하다, like to invite, right? When something is inviting, ing, it appeals to you, it makes you feel comfortable.
Yes.
Yes. Feel special. Okay, let's continue.
They are also capitalizing on the renewed popularity of tennis due to recent movies that featured the sport.
Okay. And tennis is also very popular in Korea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they are capitalizing on, if these gyms capitalize on something, what are they doing?
They are taking advantage of something. So tennis is popular. So these fitness centers are using that popularity to create new products or new experiences that give them more customers.
Yes. The word capital is actually another word for money.
Yes.
So if you capitalize something, it's like you're trying to make money from something too, right? So they're doing that and also trying to make money. And so it says here, socializing is another important element with lounges and cafes, a common feature among these new old gyms. Okay, so they're making it kind of a social experience. Also, exercise, of course, but it's more than just simply exercise.
Yeah, it's about the aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
The atmosphere.
I wouldn't mind. I would like to check one out.
Maybe.
I
don't know. All that wood. I just think like kumpangi, like mold or something. All that wood and sweat.
Okay. All right, let's listen to that one more time.
As gyms struggle to differentiate themselves, they have begun to turn to nostalgia to attract more members. Fitness centers, or rather sporting clubs, are hiring designers to make their facilities look and feel like those from the late 1800s to the mid-1900s. They are purposely veering away from the glass and steel designs of today for more inviting wooden accents and actual exercise equipment from that earlier era. They are also capitalizing on the renewed popularity of tennis due to recent movies that featured the sport. Socializing is another important element, with lounges and cafes a common feature among these new old gyms.
It's time for Power Note. We're going to do a quick review and give you some more example sentences. We're on pages 34 and 35. If you turn to something or someone, you kind of are needing their help. You're seeking their help.
Yes.
Or, yes. So let's look at the first dialogue. Who do you turn to when you need advice?
You're the first person I call. And if you can't help, I talk to my sister.
Yeah. There's always a person that we're close to that we turn to when we have a problem. Right? I don't know. Do you? Your sister, maybe?
I turn to the internet. When I have a problem.
Actually, you're right.
I just search it up.
That is the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. Many people turn to religious books for comfort during difficult times. Yeah. I think especially if you're having a hard time, there is either someone or something that you turn to. Yeah.
Yeah, usually. And it doesn't have to be a good thing. So, for example, in bad times, some people turn to alcohol.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, the bad things as well. So this isn't about solving the problem in a good way necessarily. It's just the path that you take whenever this situation occurs.
Right. So who do you rely on? Who do you depend on? Depending on your situation. Okay. If you veer away from something, it means to avoid or change direction from something. I heard you almost got in an accident today.
A deer jumped in front of my car and I veered away just in time.
Oh, I bet that happens a lot in Arkansas.
It does.
Right?
We have deer signs. So on the road, you'll see like this little deer jumping sign. And it's like, be careful.
Right.
My dad has gotten in a wreck with a deer at least once.
Really?
I'm sure more before I was born.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dangerous though because they have the horns, right? So the horns can go through the car.
Oof.
And unfortunately, some people don't make it. But if you veer away, that means you turn away from the deer that is in front of you.
Right. So it's a dangerous situation because sometimes if there are no cars, it's a good thing. However, if you've got traffic, veering away might end up, having you crash into another car.
Yeah.
It's very tricky.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful. Okay. He veered away from unhealthy foods after starting his diet. So you can veer away from unhealthy things.
Yeah, so you're changing your life patterns. And when you're changing that pattern, it often sets your life in a different direction.
Yeah. I was thinking too, maybe you're a very religious person or you come from a very religious background, your family. And then maybe when you get older, you kind of veer away from that. Meaning, it's a part of you, but you're just kind of changing direction.
Yeah, you're kind of stepping away a little bit.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So our next phrase is capitalize on something.
Okay, so capitalize, I often think when I hear this expression, I think of capitalism and capital, money, right? Business. So if you capitalize on something, it means to really take advantage of a situation so that you profit.
Yes.
From it. Okay, let's capitalize on the good weather and go hiking this weekend.
Sounds good. I'll find our hiking boots.
Okay, so here it has nothing to do with money.
Yeah, but it's still a profit in the sense of a good experience.
Yes.
Taking advantage of the good weather.
Yeah, let's capitalize on the good weather. Okay. She capitalized on her language skills to land a great job.
So she used her language skills to get a good job. I know a lot of people that study for English tests. They get a good grade. They put it on their resume. And then they can get into maybe get a promotion.
Yeah.
Get into a better company.
Right. I mean, knowing how to speak at least 2 languages is a huge plus.
Yes.
I think, Cameron, if you were to get a job, you could definitely capitalize on your language skills.
Well, I think that's the only thing I could capitalize on.
Well, that's
I don't know
a big
if I have
thing.
Other skills.
Oh, come on. That's huge, Cameron.
I can barely use a computer, Kristen.
Oh, no. Oh, please.
But you can capitalize on many things. For example, you can capitalize on your connections.
Ooh.
You can use the human
network.
connections,
Yes.
the network that you have to get a job.
Yeah, that's right. Connections are very important. Okay, look and feel is our power pattern. So it's kind of not only looking, but it kind of gives you that experience as well. This really looks and feels like real fur.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like fur.
Right.
Even if it looks like it.
That's it.
Those robots look and feel like humans.
Yeah, they really are like human.
I wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, okay. We have a great power vocab today. The word is inviting, so which means welcoming. Very kind of gives you a sense of warmth and comfort. Do check out the definition on page 36, and please stop by.
오디오 학당.
Okay, for a very small monthly fee, you can listen to our program again and again, evening special again and again.
Yes, you can.
All right. Thank you so much for studying with us this week, and have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.